Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Krebs. I'm a gold qualified consultant with Team Sunset, part of Team Empire, Team World Explorers, and Team Rising Tide. Welcome to tonight's 10-leg training. This is going to give you the basics about how to quote a policy, how to sign up for 10-leg, and how to show your clients the benefits of booking with 10-leg. 10-leg is our only travel insurance provider, so you may have heard of other travel insurance providers such as Nationwide, Alliance, Allstate. Archer does not support those. So now Richard brought up a good point during the pre-meeting conversations. You can use vendor travel insurance. So with Carnival, through Vax, through Princess, you can use those. Okay, because those are supported by the vendors. However, the nice thing about 10-leg is that there are some benefits to 10-leg. Number one, 10-leg pays a 17% commission to us. Okay, if you're getting, let's say you're getting insurance through Princess, you're only getting a 10% commission with them. Number two, 10-leg pays out earlier. Okay, so within 30 to 45 days after the policy is paid for is when you are getting paid out for that. So let's say you've purchased the policy on behalf of your client on May 15th. By June 30th, you are going to be paid out for that policy already. Okay, after the 7-day look period that your client gets with 10-leg. So those are the two benefits. And I personally prefer 10-leg's insurance suppliers, Berkshire Hathaway Specialty Insurance and Spinnaker Insurance, over the vendor provided insurance providers, which could be Alliance. They could be Allstate, because they have much better coverages. And I will show you what I mean by that when we do a policy quote for a client, because I do need to quote a policy actually tonight. So we will see what we can do. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and I'm going to show you guys the basics of how to first get signed up for 10-leg. So if you go into your travel cafe, the first thing that you're going to see, you're going to go into suppliers and then USA suppliers. You're going to scroll down to 10-leg. Okay, click on 10-leg. And yes, the travel cafe has changed a little bit. They did some work on it yesterday, and I think it looks a little bit better. They did some upgrades to it. So it's just like any other supplier. The supplier commissions is a flat 17%. Commission payout time frame is 30 to 60 days after the policy is sold and paid in full. Okay, so you can always quote these policies and go back to them and pay for them. Now, I was explaining earlier that there is a 15-day pre-existing condition waiver that your clients can receive if they purchase it within 15 days of the booking of their trip. Now, we had a situation with an agent in one of our teams in Team Empire who had a client who wanted to purchase trip insurance after the fact that he had gotten injured on the job and was wondering if that insurance would cover it, the cancellation of the trip. Because it was after the fact of the booking, that pre-existing condition waiver no longer existed, and there would be a 180-day look back period depending on the insurer. So no, you cannot do that. It was like he was trying to get his money back by using insurance because he had gotten injured on the job. So, okay, that's perfect, Brandon. We're doing the training right now for you. So you can't do that. The best thing to do is to sell the policy and quote the policy along when you're quoting the booking. Okay? And 10-leg has 5 to 8 different levels of coverage, depending on what your clients are doing. And they go by what's called a dynamic pricing schedule. So it's based on a number of factors. It depends on what type of activities they're doing, and the age of the client, and the price of the trip. So if you have an older client, Tinleg is not just for booking cruises. Tinleg is for everything. So Tinleg will cover your airfare, your hotel, your rental car, your entire vacation. So Tinleg covers everything. I purchased it for my trip, and I'll show you guys how I quoted my trip to Vegas. And I really recommend getting trip insurance on yourself if you're going on your own vacation or you're traveling for a business trip, because you never know what's going to happen. And I'll give you guys a good example of that here a little later on. But first, here's how you sign up. So you just scroll down to the how to register. Step number 1 is you need to send an email to tinleg@archertravel.com requesting to become an Archer Travel Tinleg subagent. You need to include your first and last name, your EVO ID number, and the email address you want associated with your Tinleg account. I would highly recommend that you use the email address that is associated with your Archer account. Step number 2 is that you will receive a confirmation email from Tinleg confirming your account, and included in your response will be a link to activate your new account, followed by a prompt to create a password to finalize the process. Once you're logged in to your Tinleg back office, you're going to locate your unique Tinleg ID personalized link on the Tinleg dashboard. And I will show you where that is. Now, you have 2 options to share this information with your client. 1, you can quote the policy yourself. Or 2, you can provide your personalized link to potential clients and they can quote the insurance policy themselves and choose to purchase it on their own. Now, I personally like to do it and go over the policies with my clients. That way I can explain exactly what kind of coverages they are getting. Now, the reason for that is, in my case, my dad has been in insurance for 50 some odd years. So I know the lingo, I know what I'm talking about, and I prefer to present everything to my client in its entirety in a quote. But if you provide your personalized link, you are still going to receive that 17% commission for your clients. Now, an Archer Travel staff member, Ryan Stockton, will add you to Tinleg, but keep in mind that this can take up to 4 to 7 business days. Okay? Because there is a very high volume of requests right now to be added to Tinleg. If you have not heard anything within 7 business days, not 7 calendar days, 7 business days, then you need to contact Ryan at the office. Or if you do not hear from Ryan within 24 hours, you need to contact Jose and he'll look into it for you. Always check your spam and junk folders if you do not receive anything in your inbox, as sometimes the emails end up there. Just like always. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about registering for Tinleg right now? Yes, Richard, a nice feature of Tinleg is that you can combine it with other commissionable bookings, and it is non-commissionable as well, like with Vax, etc. I don't ever quote anything with Vax's insurance anymore. I quote Tinleg for everything. So Jennifer, with your bride having back surgery next month, no, get them to book this. As soon as you get them to book the trip, get them to book the insurance. So, because that would fall out of the pre-existing condition waiver. So try to get your bride and groom to book it all together and within the next month prior to the back surgery is what my recommendation would be. Okay, so no questions about how to register for Tin Leg? Yeah, no problem. All right, let's get into Tin Leg. So this is the link that you're going to use to sign in, secure.tinleg.com/agent/sign-in. You're going to use your email and the password that you created. That's awesome, Richard. And this is going to be your dashboard. Yeah, it's actually right here. The link is right here, up in the blue box. So secure.tinleg.com/agent/sign-in. Sign_in. And it's https://. Okay, so once you get logged in, this is your dashboard. Okay, you can look at your reports, your sales by date, their agent resources. You can look at your sales summary for your year to date, your number of policies sold for the quarter, the month. This right here is going to be your agent link. So this is the link that you are going to give to your clients. Okay, we do not ever use the contact us. If you have any problems, you email this email address. tinlegsupport@archertravel.com, and Ryan will help you out. Okay, so Debbie asks, what is the difference with using Tin Leg or using the insurance with VAX when using, say, with FunJet coverage for travel insurance? That's a great question, Debbie. So with Tin Leg, you can get trip cancellation coverage that gives you cash back versus just the trip credit. And it is far cheaper to get it through Tin Leg than it is to get it through VAX. So a typical VAX policy, if you're booking it on a $5,000 trip, I have noticed it's going to run you $300 for cash back. It's going to run you $199.98 for trip credit. And those trip credits are only good for 12 months or 24 months. Okay. And this is cancel for any reason insurance that you can get through Tin Leg. Plus, you're also making more commission. Again, you're making 17% commission with Tin Leg, whereas with VAX, you may only be making 6, 8, 10, 12%. Richard, yes, Derek Jewell is one of our agents on Team Sunset. He won the Tin Leg giveaway a few months ago. My gold agent, Rianne Lima, won it by selling over $4,200 in policies last month. And she had never sold Tin Leg before. And we had a group booking for 55 people. And we booked everything with trip insurance through Tin Leg. And she won a $250 giftogram, which she still owes me 125 of in a Starbucks gift card. But that's another story. So Debbie, yeah, if your clients took out full cash back with Vax, you're going to compare them, definitely compare them, but you've got to, I would be calling Vax to find out how much commission you're actually making on that sale of the trip insurance, because it doesn't break it down in Vax, unfortunately, and I wish it did. But with Tinleg, I can tell you it's 17%. But I can't tell you what the policy coverages are. I can't tell you any of that. It could only be $5,000 in medical. It could only be $10,000 in emergency evacuation. And I'm going to show you guys something here in just a minute. So let's go ahead and do a quote. So we're going to click on my agent link here. And we're just going to use me as an example. This is so easy to quote, guys. So you just select what country your client is a resident of, what state they're a resident of, because every state has different guidelines, how many travelers, how old are the travelers as of today, when do you leave home? So I'm just going to requote my trip to Vegas. Should this quote include trip cancellation coverage? I always leave that as yes. You can say no, but I always leave it as yes. What is the cost of your trip? Mine came out to $21.63. And I always put the total trip cost. You can absolutely purchase for yourself through this, Jennifer, and make commission on it. Then it's going to ask you when you first made your booking. Okay. I first made my booking back on April 5th. What is one country you're traveling to? You're going to select what one country that your clients are traveling to. So I like, if they're going on a cruise, I like to select Mexico, because I don't really like to select Barbados or Haiti or anything like that. So I'm going to select the United States, because it does vary based on the countries that they're traveling to as well. And then you're just going to click the quote now button, guys. And you see it searches for plans. And look at this. I've got a range of 8 different plans that I can choose from. Okay. For my trip, I chose the Tinleg Standard. So this one is underwritten by Berkshire Hathaway Specialty Insurance Company. It's got an A+ rating, or A++ superior rating, effective as of March 28th, 2024. That's why I really like them. Spinnaker has an A- rating, effective as of 12/19 of 23, which is still a really good rating, but it's an economy plan. Yes, Berkshire Hathaway is owned by Warren Buffett. Both of these companies are, actually. So let's take a look at the Tinleg Basic Plan, underwritten by Spinnaker. So to take a look at that, you just click on the certificate. And this is what it's going to bring up. So this is going to bring up the Tinleg Basic Plan and the schedule of benefits. There's a maximum limit of $10,000 of trip cancellation. Trip interruption. So for like a natural disaster or anything like that, it's 150% of the trip cost. Single occupancy is up to the trip cancellation maximum. Trip delay is a maximum of $150 per day to up to a maximum of $500 per insured. If there's a missed connection due to a covered reason, it's a maximum of $250 per trip. There's baggage and personal effects coverage. So if the airline loses your client's baggage, they are covered. Up to $500 per covered trip, per item restrictions apply. There's a $25 deductible for that. That's amazing. If your client's luggage is delayed up to or 24 hours or longer, then there's $200. Richard, no, you cannot combine Tinleg with the supplier's insurance. That would be double dipping, And you're not going to need two insurances because Tin Leg is going to cover everything. Okay, so on the basic plan that costs $87.53. Get down. Sorry, kitten. I don't know if you guys can you guys see my screen okay? Okay. Look at the travel medical expense, guys. $50,000 per insured. Okay? $50,000 of travel medical expense per person. Okay? If you get hurt or sick on the trip, you use this plan instead of your primary health insurance and you're covered. Yeah, I can absolutely zoom in a little. Okay, so $50,000 per insured, $0 deductible. $750 in emergency dental work, $0 deductible. If you have to be emergently evacuated from a cruise ship, or in the unfortunate instance that you may pass away while you are on a trip, there's a $200,000 benefit for emergency evacuation and repatriation of remains back to the United States. $200,000 benefit. This is why I love this company, you guys. If you are flying on a common air carrier, so Delta, American, Southwest, Sun Country, any of them, accidental death and dismemberment coverage, $25,000 per insured going to your beneficiary. If there's inconvenience, you get 7 days extension per covered trip. Extra cover when the policy is purchased within 15 days of the initial trip payment. This is what I was talking about, was that pre-existing medical condition exclusion waiver. This is on the basic plan. Okay. So let's go take a look at the standard plan. So $87.83 for one person. This is what I got, was the standard plan. And that's a plan for South Dakota. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. This is a Berkshire Hathaway plan. That was a Spinnaker insurance plan. This is a Berkshire Hathaway plan. Look at this right here. If the insured or traveling companion is hospitalized beyond the date coverage ends due to an injury or sickness that first occurred during the course of the trip, coverage under the emergency medical expense and emergency evacuation and repatriation of remains benefits will be extended until the insured or traveling companion is released from the hospital or until the maximum benefit is as listed in the schedule is paid. That's amazing. Okay. Here's the Berkshire Hathaway schedule of benefits. Up to $100,000 in trip cancellation coverage. Up to $150,000 in trip interruption. Tracy, yes, you can absolutely quote this if it's paid in full. You can sell the policy by itself, Jennifer. Absolutely. That's how I did it. Because my trip was already booked, I sold the policy to myself, singly. Minimum trip delay of 6 hours. $150 up to a maximum limit of $500. Again, your baggage and personal effects coverage, $500. $100 for each first item, $100 per each additional item, $500 aggregate for items shown in the benefit. Minimum baggage delay of 24 hours, you get a $200 benefit. The emergency medical expense on the standard plan that I have, $30,000. So, I mean, that's nothing to sneeze at, guys. An ER visit by itself usually runs about $5,000 or $6,000. Okay, let me tell you a little story of why I have this coverage on myself. 2 years ago, I got really sick and I nearly died. If that had happened while I was on the trip, I would have been covered had I had insurance. And I wouldn't have had to use my personal health insurance for part of the bills. Okay. I had hospital bills up to $1.5 million over a 10-month period. Tracy, you are going to want to wait until you book your flights and hotels for 2025 because you need the total cost of the trip. Because the price of the premium is based off that total price. And then you would have to pay an additional amount. You would have to do a policy change and add that additional amount to the cost of the insurance plan. So I would wait. Here's the nice thing about Berkshire Hathaway. There's an escort coverage limit of $25,000. And that would, if someone was to die and they needed to get an escort down for repatriation of remains or emergency evacuation, they cover $25,000 of those. Okay. And then again, up to the $200,000 maximum limit. That's right. These benefits are amazing. Yeah, Johanna, absolutely. And honestly, I would try to take over the booking. See if you can try to take over the booking if somebody already has a trip booked. Try to take it over with the hotel or the resort. Yep, Jennifer, you can definitely sell the heck out of this. So you guys, you just have to read the policies, guys. But closing that out, you see they have several different levels of policies. This 10-leg adventure policy. So let's say you have someone who is going to go cliff diving or skydiving or rock climbing or something like that. This is the policy that you're going to get them. Because look, because the risk is higher, they may have sporting equipment going with them. Look at the emergency medical expense, $100,000. But look at the emergency evacuation, $1 million. $1 million in policy coverage. That sells itself, folks. It's what I tell my clients. You always want to cover yourself for the unexpected. Oh, yeah, it does. Richard, the best way to approach this, in my opinion, is to be upfront and say you never know what is going to happen prior to your trip. Get the insurance to protect your hard-earned vacation dollars. This is cancel for any reason insurance that you are getting. It is a financial safety net for your vacation dollars. So, Tin Leg sells itself, you guys. Travel insurance sells itself, but Tin Leg for sure sells itself. And you can tell people that you are selling the highest rated travel insurance policy in the nation with an A++ rated company, Berkshire Hathaway Specialty Insurance. And it's going to sell itself every single time. On the credit card authorization form, it says on the bottom of the form, have you been offered travel insurance for this trip? Yes or no? You are required by Archer to ask every single client that you deal with whether or not they would like travel insurance. It's non-negotiable. And I can guarantee you guys, 97% of your clients are going to say yes. You're going to have those few that want to run the risk, but then when something happens, they're going to be out $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9,000, or you're going to be scrambling to figure out a way to help them. And that's not good for you, your business, or for your clients for that matter. Berkshire underwrites the policy, so does Spinnaker, depending on the policy that you purchased. I always try to quote the Berkshire policy, so. Yeah, you just send it via email, and it says right here, email quote. You just click on that. You put your name, and then you put your client's name, and then you put their email address, and then you click email my quote, and boom, you're done. Yep, and Debbie, that's exactly right. If people decline it, they cannot come back and say that you did not offer them travel insurance. Fran, you have up until 7 days prior to the trip, but my recommendation is get them to purchase it right when they're booking their trip. And the reason for that, again, is because you never know what is going to happen. Okay, let me stop my screen share here so I can read the chat better. Okay, so Katie says, I have a family of 8 ranging in ages from 14 to 85, 4 from Illinois and 4 from Missouri. We're putting the deposit down on their 2025 cruise, 4 cabins tomorrow. So if we wait until purchase and until you book the pre-cruise tour and flights, we run the risk of not having the. So they're only going to look back 180 days, Katie. You're going to be just fine. For a 2025 cruise, they're only going to look back 180 days from the day you purchase the policy. So you'll be just fine. Yes, you can email yourself the quote, Oscar, and then and create it all in one with your quote that you send to your clients as well. Katie, going to the second part of your question about being best to quote book the policy individually or for family, I would book it for all 8. Actually, no. That's a tough one. You know what? Get in touch with Ryan Stockton at the office and let me put their number into the chat box. Ask for Ryan. You can definitely send 2 to 3 offers to the or quotes to the client, but talk to them and see what kind of excursions they're looking at before you do that. I mean, if they're looking to just lounge on the beach and not do anything crazy, like I have honeymoon clients in Punta Cana right now that we're going to go zip lining. So we got them the adventure policy, and then they decided to go snorkeling twice instead. So they still kept the adventure policy, but because I wasn't going to requote it. But yeah, Katie, I would recommend contacting Ryan to ask him. He's our 10 leg guru and expert, and he's the one who handles everything with 10 leg. So call him tomorrow and see if you can get a hold of him. He's there from 8:30. The office is open from 8:30 to 5 Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. If you don't get a hold of Ryan, leave a message for him. If he doesn't call back within 24 hours, call back and talk to Jose. And he may be able to guide you. No problem. What other questions are there tonight about 10 leg? I mean, long story short, guys, you do never know what's going to happen. I had, out of that group of 55 that Rianne and I booked, we actually had 3 people that needed to cancel. And all 3 of them had trip insurance. And so the county recouped their costs for those trips. So it was the county in California that was paying for the entire trip, and they recouped all of their costs, airfare, hotel, everything on those trips because we had insurance on the client. And these were last minute cancellations. One came 2 weeks prior to the trip, one came 4 days, and one came 1 day prior to the trip. But because we had insurance, we didn't lose any money. So again, you never know what's going to happen. That's why you need to have travel insurance. Yeah, no problem, Tracy. So again, guys, if you are not signed up with 10 leg, you need to send an email to 10leg@archertravel.com with your name, your first and last name, your Evo ID number, and your preferred email address, which I would suggest the email address being used, the one that you have on file with Archer. And then in 4 to 7 business days, they will get back to you. 10 leg will send you everything. Okay, so Tiffany brings up a great point. Can they use their own health insurance if they don't buy travel insurance? Some health insurance policies will cover international travel and some will not. That is where the travel insurance comes in even better, and that is another great selling point. Because you don't know if your health insurance is going to cover you internationally or not. So if you get sick in Punta Cana, you may be stuck paying $3,000 or $4,000 to the doctor right out of pocket. But if you have this insurance, your insurance is going to take care of it, or you're going to get reimbursed for it. So I don't recommend anybody traveling without travel insurance, ever. And even my no's, I can usually get to convert to a yes when I explain it that way to them. Are there any other questions tonight about 10 leg? All right, I'm not seeing any in the chat. So thank you guys very much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you can sell air travel internationally. Give me just a minute, I'll help you out. So Janelle, when you email the quote, you can email all 8 quotes to your client. And then they can choose which policy would be better, or you can just send them your link and they can put in all their information and choose from the policies themselves and book it that way. And it's just like an affiliate link, like with Virgin Voyages or Viator. So they can purchase it themselves and you get the commission. You'll get notified that a policy was purchased under your agent number with Tinleg, and you just fill out a commission tracking form. That's the other thing I forgot. You do have to fill out a commission tracking form for all of this, guys, just like any regular booking. So, Caitlin, they do not sell annual insurance that I'm aware of. So, it goes by trip individually. Debbie, if clients are saying their credit card will cover it and that is why they do not want coverage, that's a personal decision. If they're saying that their credit card's going to cover it, then that's their personal decision. But just tell them the risks. Sure, Anna. It is Tinleg at archertravel.com. Put your name, your first and last name, your Archer and Evolution ID number, and the email address that you would like to be associated with your Tinleg account. Send all of that in an email. And then in 4 to 7 business days, they will have your account set up for you. Any other questions? Yeah, no problem, guys. Well, thank you all very much for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Yes, Megan, that is what the credit card authorization form, the denial is where they select no on the credit card authorization form. That is their denial. Jennifer, yes, you can send your link to them and whoever needs it can get it. Tinleg does not have promotions for clients that I'm aware of, Richard. But they have the best rates in the business, to be totally honest with you. Cheaper than Vax. I mean, I have on my personal website, I have my Tinleg link straight to it. So, and I've had a number of people quote policies straight off of that. Any other questions? Yep, definitely add it to your link tree if you have it. Within 30 to 45 days, sometimes up to 60, but it's usually the following month after the policy has been paid for. So let's say it was purchased on May 15th, you'll usually be paid out by June 30th. Or the last business day of June. So that's one of those that you don't have to wait until the trip has been taken to receive your commission on the insurance part of it. So that's also really nice about Tinleg. It's one of our few suppliers that do that. Anything else, guys? Yeah, no problem, Jennifer. Yep, no problem, Robin. Well, thank you all very much for being here tonight. Again, my name is Mark Krebs. I do my trainings every Tuesday night at this same time on this same Zoom. Next week, I believe, is going to be booking domestic and international flights. Richard, no, we do not get residual from Tinleg. Not unless you're sharing your link and then it's like making money in your sleep, that type of residual. So, but again, my name is Mark Krebs. I'm a trainer with Team Sunset, Team Empire, Team World Explorer, and Team Rising Tide. Thank you all very much for being here and have a great rest of your evening.